Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with my new monthly series, my one in one out / sorting the shelves videos, where I sort of reckon with myself, have a reckoning I guess. Although I don't like to shame it, because if you've got space to have as many books as you like, you go for it. Never shame yourself on owning books. It's not a bad thing to buy books. I have decided that this room is the maximum that I'm allowed my TBR to be. Yes, this room is my TBR before anybody faints. There's a whole video on why I have such a big TBR, which I'll link down below. That sounded like I was showing off about my size, and that's inappropriate. In this video, I'm going to be talking about not every single book that I got in February in detail, but I'm going to be going through the books that I was sent by publishers and the books that I bought myself, and then trying to sort out my shelves so that I don't have any more books than are on my shelf. So if these books overflow or there's not enough space, I have to get rid of some of these. The exception of which is proofs or books that are coming out this year, because I have a whole set of shelves over there. I can never do this pointy thing. Somewhere over there. No, there we go, somewhere over there. That took a while. The stats for February were that 62 books came into the house and I read 21. So yeah, this isn't going well so far this year. And I never wanted to do it to sort of make it an exactly one in one out rule, but like, just, yeah, I don't know what I decided to do this for really. It sounded fun at the time. I might regret it when I've lost the will to live and maybe I've just got rid of them all. Or maybe just hidden under a pile of books because this room has been taken over. Anyway, enough of the waffle, Simon. These are the proofs that I got. And I'm not going to do what I did last time, which is go through and be like, read it, didn't read it, read it, didn't read it, because there's just no point. And also because these ones kind of get away with it anyway, because they're all going to end up on my 2021 shelves, as I mentioned, when I couldn't find them or work out where to point to them. That's the first set, and then we have them. I've got them in size order. This is the other set. They have thrown me a bit of a wand though this month, because within these fabulous piles of books, I have some books that actually either came out last year, so they need to go onto my other shelves. So for example, I think it's those two that came out last year from that pile. And then we have some books that have been reissued. So they've come out this year in these editions, but actually are from previous years. I feel like they have to go on my backlist shelves here, or I still can't do this pointy thing there. So yeah, so that's kind of thing. And actually another one is this came out in hardback last year, but it's come out in paperback this year, so I feel like this should go on my backlist books too. So I've given myself a little bit of a mission there, because I'm not doing myself any favours. I could have just shoved those on the 2021 shelves, but I don't think it feels right. If you disagree with me and think I should be being more lenient on myself, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you're saying, no, Simon, you need to be tougher on yourself, you get those on those shelves, I'd like to hear either way. I think I'm going to go with being tougher on myself and being a bit more savage on the savage and heading them over there. So that leaves me with all of these books that are going to go. I'm just going to put them in one big pile and show you how ridiculously high they are. I can't even fit them all in the screen. I will then come back to the books that I have bought myself and show you what I'm going to do with those. These are my published in 2021 shelves, and actually as you can see there's quite a few gaps because, and I forgot to film this, as soon as the Women's Prize long list was announced, I got rid of any books that I'd been keeping just in case they were on the long list that I wasn't sure I was actually that fussed about. Apologies, no unhaul of that from me. Ta-da! They're looking much better now, but there is space running out. And one thing I did want to say is that I am having a lot of loungewear going on at the moment when I'm working from home, and I'm filming this, well, I was filming this on lunch and now it's later on in the day after work, and I don't want to be judged for my loungewear, so that's why you're not seeing me going through the shelves in a speedy zoomy way. Right, now that we've done the proofs, let's see what the state of affairs is. I'm still left with all of these, which are books that came out before 2021 but have been republished or come out in paperback in 2021 that are going to go on my backlisted shelves. 10 of them. I wasn't actually expecting it to be that much. I thought I was going to have a bit of an easy ride this month and not probably have to get any books out and just be able to pop books onto the shelves. We'll see how we go when we get through the books that I have bought myself. But before we do, one other group of books I'm going to make an exemption to, and actually I should mention poetry is exempt, but I'll talk about that more when I get to the books that I bought myself, because I bought myself some poetry. books that have been bought for me as gifts, as I put a wish list up, which I'll link down below, for my birthday. I got these in February. I've had some more since in March, but actually I should have saved them all until after my birthday on the 24th, when the wish list will be no more within a week of that. So yeah, that's some exemptions there, which could be seen as cheating. But I think with those though, and let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this or not, I need to have read those within 6 months. And that includes the books that I think Chris is getting me for my birthday. I mean, that's a huge assumption, and we all know that assume makes an ass of you and me. And maybe that I read them within a year. What do you think? 6 months, a year? As it's like a birthday thing, maybe a year, I think, but maybe I'm being too lenient on myself. But I was hard on myself earlier. Right, enough procrastination, enough dilly-dallying about. Let's talk about the books that I bought myself, why I bought them, and then we can start popping them on the various shelves. And I'll explain to you why I have those shelves and why the shelves that I have are organised in the way they are as we go, because I know my import shelves caused quite some discussion in the comments of the last time I did this. That video I'll link down below too. So first up we have White on Race and Other Falsehoods by Tega Awagbi, and I saw this on Kayla over at Books on Lala's channel. She raved about it. It's a small pocket book of power, I think. Haven't read it yet. I've treated myself to What's the Tea by Juno Dawson. I love Juno Dawson. She was actually on Holby City on the BBC last night as I record this. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 17th. I am a trans ally, but at the same time I know that I could learn more and that we're all always learning more, and I think this book will really, really help me with that, so that's going to be brilliant. I thought I had this book, turns out I didn't. Grace over at GKV2, I think I should start sending an invoice, frankly, because I buy so many books on her recommendation. And she mentioned The Bone Readers by Jacob Ross because she loved it and she'd recently got the sequel. I really want to read more Caribbean literature, and this is crime and it sounds like it's going to be really, really good. I'm really, really intrigued to get to this one. A prize that's long list is so good, I want to read everything on it, and I'm really trying to hold myself back from doing so, is the Dylan Thomas Prize, which is the reason that I bought Rendang by Will Harris. I will link all of my book hauls for February down below in case you want more details on like the proofs and stuff. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I haven't read this one yet. Nor have I read, I don't think this is going to be a common theme, Writers and Lovers by Lily King, which I was fairly certain was going to be on the Women's Prize long list. And so I was like, right, I'm going to get that in advance because then I can just get right on it, because me and my mum are reading the long list together. Not in a race way, because I hate like the way that people can treat prizes like a race for the first one to read them all. I did think that this might be on this. I was like, oh, I can get to that one straight away. But no, incorrect. That said, I've heard so many good things about this, it's untrue, so I really, really want to get to it in due course. And we have an author who I have read and loved before. I didn't realise that she had this kind of thrillery kind of novel out, and that's The Underneath by Melanie Finn. I actually found this because I was looking at her new novel, which I think is out in like a really nice sort of hardback. I think it's out in America, it's not out here. I really love that cover. It's a very autumnal cover. I think that this could be a really good autumn read. I'm torn as to whether I should put this on my sort of literature shelves or my crime thriller shelves, which are there. I'm not quite sure, so I'll have a think about that one. Might be all about space. Matthew Sharappa said that Lote was one of his favourite books of 2020, and I thought, oh, I need to get to that because he knows what he's talking about with books, and he has some incredibly good recommendations, and I hadn't heard very much about this at all, so I got it. I think it's about art, about culture, it's about queerness, all sorts of things. And when I mentioned it, there were lots and lots of, I've just seen there's appendices and everything. When I mentioned it, there were lots and lots of comments about how much they'd loved this. I saw this on Sarah of Your True Shelves channel. She really, really recommended The Henna Wars by Adiba Jagadar. And this sounds incredible. It's YA. It's about a young girl who is coming to terms with her sexuality, which she knows her parents, because of their religion and their culture, won't agree with. And that's something that I find fascinating in writing. So I wanted to get to that one. I want to try a bit more fantasy. And this is something that I'm probably going to do in a video in the next couple of months, where I want to read a book from every genre that I don't normally read. And this could be one of them. It's Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. And again, one that I heard amazing things about. I'm so easily swayed. The same happened with seeing the sequel actually to The Missing American by Quay Quarty, which I can't remember the title of, but I saw it on lots of people's most anticipated books by authors of colour in 2021. I was like, oh, I've not read the first one, and I do like me a thriller, and this is set in Ghana, and it's about an American who goes missing and a private detective that starts looking into the case. So I'm really, really excited for this one. Very, 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 very much indeed. A book that lots of you recommended, and again I was easily swayed over after I'd watched My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, which I just thought was amazing, and oh, just so powerful and beautiful and heartbreaking and hopeful. Lots and lots of you got in touch and said The Soul of an Octopus by Simon Montgomery was a book that I had to read, and this is about the relationships that Simon Montgomery has with 4 octopuses. I'm never going to get that right. Athena, Octavia, Carly and Karma. I can't wait for this. I think it's going to be brilliant. Grace over at GK Reads, a recommendation from her again. America is Not the Heart by Elaine Costello. She said this was brilliant and really looked at what it's like for immigrants in America, but also really celebrates food, and that was enough for me. So yeah, I have literally not read a single one of these. It's quite embarrassing. I did a vlog of my trip to New York last January, which was like a million years ago. I'll link that down below if you want to go and see it for a little bit of escapism, quite literally, to New York. And when I was there, I saw The Inheritance, and editing that video brought that back to me, and so I bought a copy because I would really, really like to read this. I found this play so powerful. I've never been in a theatre where a play ends and everyone is just weeping, both part 1 and part 2. It was just phenomenal. I talked, I think in the last video actually, about how I wanted to get more Monique Rofi in my life, and so I managed to get hold of The White Woman on the Green Bicycle. This was actually quite tricky to get, and I've not been able to get Archipelago at all, so I mean that saved me from possibly having to do a one in one out, but still I'm a completist. I want them all, which is why I ended up ordering through Blackwell's, and they managed to get this copy for me. Leaving Atlanta by Tayari Jones. I am definitely going to read this on my birthday week, as I am The House in the Carillion Sea. They're just books that I've been desperate to read for ages, and I need to stop saving books for a rainy day, because 1, it rains quite a lot around here, and 2, it's just silly to keep putting off reading books that you know you're going to love. Another one that I really want to read actually very, very soon is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I didn't realise this was out. I also didn't realise that she has another book out. I loved Allegedly. I thought it was so brilliant, so powerful, and I love the way that her writing, though aimed at a younger audience, is in no way patronising or shies away from anything. It's just brilliant. And last but certainly not least, this stunning edition of A Burning by Mega Majumdar. And yeah, this is another one that I thought would be on the Women's Prize long list, but more for me, it wasn't. But one that I do really, really want to read, and I just think that is so beautiful. It's Untrue. So there we go. I'm going to break it down into the different shelves that I have, and then we shall get to a sorting of shelves. That's all sorted. So I'm going to include plays with poetry because I don't read them enough, and so these are going to go onto those shelves right now. These are the shelves. I think I'm actually going to have to get rid of my Russian doll and find somewhere else for her to live. So, oh, sorry, that was really good filming from me there, so that I can pop these. Oh, this is going really, really well. It's very difficult to film and try and sort your shelves out. This is why I've never done a bookshelf tour. Anyway, yeah, so that's poetry. That's fine, sorted. Although actually, that gap there is not very much anymore. So yeah, maybe I can't have that exception for much longer. Then we have another slight cheat because I have a proof of this on my Proofs of 2021 shelves. And if I have proofs of books, be they on any shelves in this room, and then I have a finished copy, yes, I have some separate shelves for those. Shocking. Here they are. I'm not showing you the others because I just don't want to. I have one import book for my import shelves. Now, this caused quite a lot of consternation, I'm going to say, in the comments of my last One In, One Out video. Because you're like, oh, I can't believe you have all your English books on those shelves, but then you put all the other books from other countries on these shelves. No, that's not the case. These are books that have been imported from other countries, generally Australia, America or Canada. And so I put them on these shelves up here. And actually, I have space because I've read some. I read some in February. We have some space on this shelf here, so if I just move all of those along, we can pop Leaving Atlanta. Oh, that's going to annoy me because that's not the same size. I'm not going to win any awards for this. Am I filming this? But Leaving Atlanta is now there. I am definitely going to read that though by the end of March, so that's exciting. Next up we have these 3 crime books. I've decided to include the Melanie Finn as a crime, reading more of the blurb, but we'll see, I could be wrong. And I have some space on my crime shelves, but I feel like I need to sift through my crime shelves and sort of sift out series that I've collected but I've not started, or at least read the first one of them, so that might be another project coming up. Anyway, let's get these on those shelves. These are all my crime books on my crime shelves, and I have space here, I think, for 3. Let's see how we go. 1, 2. I've got to keep my eye on the actual screen and not what I'm doing with my hands. Can we get this out? Oh, this is going to be tricky. Can we get that in? I think we can. Let's try. Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to do this with 2 hands. Done. Now they are actually full. So maybe I will do this series, or starting a new series, or reading the next in a series that I already love video in due course. Non-fiction actually lives under imports and next to crime. So it's just all these here. And I don't think I've got enough space. I've got to fit these 3 on. So, interestingly, this could be the first time I have to try a chapter tag of some non-fiction. I actually made so much shelf space, and you'll see why in a little bit, that there we go. I've actually got space now for more non-fiction, should some more come in. Oh, they've collapsed already, and I've only just put them on there. It's going dark now, so what I might do is carry on with the YA, an explanation of what's happened with my non-fiction, and those shelves tomorrow. Oh, you'll have to wait a whole couple of seconds. See, I told you it'd be seconds. I'm here. It's 7:30 in the morning on Thursday the 18th, when this will go live later. Got my cup of tea, my table's in disarray with the books that I still need to go through, and I wanted to give you an update actually. I have very squeaky floorboards. I actually changed up the non-fiction because I realised when I was looking back at the footage this morning that I had got a book piled on top of, oh no, it's those ones actually. I'd got a book piled on top of those. That's not allowed. I found somewhere to put my Russian doll. So is it called a Russian doll? Doesn't look very doll-like, does it? But anyway, yeah, so I've moved it all around, and that's now where it's at, so we can sit down with my cup of tea and talk about non-fiction before we do YA, which is up there, which has got some gaps anyway, and then those shelves. I don't know if I prefer morning light actually to evening light. It's quite nice. Anyway, right, let's talk about non-fiction. Although I should mention, this top is not telling you to go away, because I know that my failure top can sometimes, unintentionally offend people, as if I'm saying you're a failure when it's about me thinking I'm a failure. But this actually is from my mother, and it says, "Go away, I'm reading." She got it me for Christmas. It's lovely, and I like this blue. Anyway, I realised when I was going through non-fiction yesterday that when Audible had a really big sale earlier this year, what's the other one that everyone else uses? It's Scribd, which I can't seem to fathom. Anyway, there was a big sale, and so I bought myself, I think, about 15 audiobooks on offer. And so I picked, I can't speak, it's very early. I generally tend to buy audiobooks of non-fiction I already have, because it's just a really good way for me to, I was going to say ingest it, that sounds kind of wrong, but I guess it's right. 2 of them were absolute stonkers. We've got Wild Swans, which I've always wanted to read, and I think is one of my mum's favourite non-fiction books. Speaking of my mother, Mary Beard is one of my mum's icons, and I've still not read SPQR. And then Raptor, I've had on my shelves for ages because I do really love, I don't know if I've talked about this and how last year, if it hadn't been for old Corona, I was meant to be going and having falconry course as a birthday present, so that may happen maybe later this year, next year. Anyway, I love Raptors. Our old neighbours, where I used to live in Matlock Bath, they moved in and they'd left Rydberg Castle Zoo, and they brought some of the animals with them, and one of them was Mr. Khrushchev, who was a golden eagle who I used to go and feed and fly. Anyway, enough of my nostalgia and memory trips. Last but not least is Hidden Valley Road by Robert Kolker, and I know that this was an Obama pick. I think these will all be good on audio, so that made a load of space, but I want to try and listen to maybe an audiobook a week, or if not, at least 1 or 2 weeks, because I think this one's something like 23 hours, but we'll see. They'll probably find their way onto this book trolley, which I really need to organise a little bit better than it is in due course, because they're not going to be try chapter tags, they're going to be ones that I just want to listen to and get read. Enough of that waffle that I went off for 3 minutes about non-fiction. Let's go to my YA shelves, and I thought that these were going to fit, but I don't think they are. There may be a way around it though. I'm gonna have to try and do some BAFTA award-winning camera work, which I was failing at yesterday, and put 2 straight onto this part of the bookshelf. Now, I am either gonna have to, well, no, I'm not gonna be able to fit Grown in there, so I am gonna have to take something off and decide to read something, because I'm going to allow myself to have this as, it's not going to even be a try chapter tag, but I want to read this on my birthday week, which is next week. So I know I'm going to get that done in the next few days, so I'm not putting that up there. So now I need to find something to take off for a try chapter tag. And he's back. So I've chosen the YA that's going to be one of my try chapter tag books. However, before I talk about that, I'm going to actually head over and sort these onto my shelves right behind me there. So as I said, quite a bit of space, even some space actually right at the bottom down there. So I can just pop these straight on to there. Now I don't know if you can see, but there are gaps throughout, so I was feeling quite smug. But no, I think this is going to be really, really tricky. These are where I keep all of my backlisted paperbacks in alphabetical order of author. I need to do alphabetical order of author on these shelves, and actually all of those shelves over there. I've got my non-fiction, my YA and my crime, etc., and my imported books. So yeah, that's a job for another time, not today. And as with yesterday, I will not be filming myself sorting these shelves, because I have on my comedy pyjamas, and I don't need that judgment. We spoke about this before. Done it, and they are full. You'll see there's books on top of books and stuff. I'll talk you through those shortly. But I thought that I was going to just get away with it, actually, as I was going through, because like there was some big gaps, because like a big Margaret Atwood's not there anymore, a big Rose Tremaine's not there anymore. But no, I still had to take them down. That said, I also found some imports and some books that were bigger paperbacks that should have been on those shelves. So let's get to those first, because the imports could throw everything again. These are the 2 paperbacks that were actually bigger than normal size paperbacks. So these are going back on the shelves but lower down to join their friends. Yeah. So that's lovely. So that was me being all smug about my import shelves were actually there. I always, when I'm doing this, I can't work out where anything is. But I've got 3, books that are imports that should be on these shelves. I might apply the same rule as I did to the House on the Cerulean Sea, in the Cerulean Sea, with Leaving by Tayari Jones, which I want to read on my birthday week. So that's going to make space for 1, but then I'm going to need to find 2 more spaces for these other 2, because I do really want to get to them. Although actually one of them maybe could be a try chapter tag. We'll see. 20 minutes, not fun later. And right, we're ready. Where are we at? Well, as I mentioned, these non-fiction I'm going to try and listen to over the forthcoming months. So they're going to end up on my new book trolley. We've actually moved now. And what's happened to the old one? It's got secrets on it. It's just here. But I was thinking, would you like me to do a book trolley sort of tour video? I don't know, because I'm never going to do, I say never, I'm unlikely to do a bookshelf tour video, because this is quite stressful every month, let alone going through every single, well, I have sort of gone through every single shelf, but you know what I mean. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. These 2 books, which came in February, and I really, really want to read next week on my birthday week. So I'm going to do that, and I'm putting them separate, probably on that book trolley there. There were still 5 books I need to do a try a chapter tag of, which I did last month. I'll link it down below. I called it Should I say that every time, should I stay or should I go? I'm hoping it's not like a message that someone's trying to tell me, should you stay on YouTube or should you go? Should they stay or should they go? And 3 went, 2 stayed. Have I read them yet or not? You'll have to see in wrap-ups forthcoming. These 5 are going to be going through the same process, and I chose a little bit differently this time. So 1, I needed to choose a YA book because those shelves are full, and I chose Cinder by Marissa Mayer. I got this because I love fairy tales, and these are supposed to be sort of fairy tales with a fantasy twist. I picked this because I have quite a few series on my YA shelves, as I do on my crime shelves, that I haven't got into and should, because I've collected nearly all of them, just not got to them yet, so it's time. So yeah, I shall be trying chapter that. With the whole import thing, this book when I say I'm trying to chapter tag, it's almost like I say I want to get rid of them, but it's trying to chapter to see if they should go back on the shelves and something else should possibly come off the shelves, depending on, fly me breathe, Simon, depending on how many books I read every month and how much I clear every shelf. But the one that I chose was one that I found on those shelves and shouldn't have been on there, and that is Fox Season and Other Stories. And I bought this because it had fox in the title and some sort of foxy wolfy thing on here. These are short stories, and I really fancied them when I bought them in foils. The label's still on there. I want to read more short stories anyway, and I would quite like to have like a short story collection on the go that I read like either one a week or one every 2 weeks. I was gonna say 2 a week, that's not gonna happen. Or one every 2 weeks. So that's doable if I love these. And that links in nicely to the other books that I took off this shelves, well, the top 5 there. I've had this short story collection on my shelves for ages. It's Mia Alvar's In the Country, and I've been meaning to try it and I just haven't got around to it, so this is a perfect excuse to. I've heard really mixed things. Some people think this is absolutely phenomenal and some people didn't like it so much. I think it's all about Filipinos who have been displaced, and we follow their stories where they end up. Some have been displaced in the Philippines and others have been displaced all across the world. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this because that's the sort of thing that I love. Those sort of books about different cultures and when they collide and when they merge. And also I just want to know more about the world or parts of the world that I don't know about, and I think fiction can be brilliant for that. Non-fiction I can sometimes struggle with because I'm a bit like, whoa, all these facts. Whereas I think when I'm told it through stories, I guess it's like that whole oral history of storytelling, in the fact that, why did I nearly laugh when I said oral history? That's how we take in a lot of stories. It's why we love radio so much. Anyway, blah, blah. Although that said, why can I not listen to fiction on audio? I don't know. The penultimate book that I'm going to be trying a chapter of in the next few weeks is The Book of Hidden Things by Francesco Dimitri. I'm not going to lie, I bought this because of the title being about a book, and also Hidden Things implies secrecy, and I love a good mystery because I'm nosy, and that cover. That's literally all it was. And finally, a book that was sent to me by publishers that I wasn't sure about, but I kept it because it's about willies. That's the honest truth. It's The Collection by Nina Ledger. Blah, 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 willies. That's why I still have this on my shelves. And let's see if it's going to be titillating, disgusting, or fascinating. It could go anyway. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts on whether I should give myself a year to read books that I get for my birthday, or whether I should just give myself 6 months. Let me know how you feel about the fact that I've cheated slightly in putting those as being like, I'm going to read them next week, so therefore off the shelves they come. And the same with audio. Am I cheating by taking these off my shelves because I'm going to listen to them within the next month? Who knows? Actually, I don't feel like I am with non-fiction, just going off on a tangent again, because I could actually fit these two back on the shelf, so I could only listen to 2 if I wanted. So, but we'll see how we go on, because I've meant to read this for absolute years. And what's great is because I've got the physical book as well, I can look at the pictures and stuff when it gets to that point. The print is so much bigger than I thought. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent, so hopefully you enjoyed this. I may have done this as a premiere, so I may actually be chatting away in the comments with you right now as this goes live, although I'll obviously chat in the comments with you afterwards once it's gone live, because I'm really enjoying all the comments and all the chats that we have. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the future with these one in, one out, sorting out the shelves videos, and also let me know if you would like a tour of my book trolley, not the one with secrets on, the new one. Hope you're all well, hope things are good as can be, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.